So it seems that the great big Warhammer 40k discount subscription service that is Combat Patrol is unleashed on the USA shortly. Let's talk through what we know of the magazine run there, and whether or not it's overall looking like a good deal. Hello and welcome back to Auspex Tactics, where today we're talking about the Warhammer 40k Combat Patrol magazine, and it's shortly to be incoming rollout in the USA. This one's definitely been anticipated by a whole bunch of people stateside while they've been watching the magazine come out in a few other places, so let's talk about the content of the magazine, whether it's overall looking like a good deal or not, and any of the changes and things versus the rollout in other countries. As I'm sure plenty of regular channel viewers are well aware, the Combat Patrol magazine is kind of the equivalent of the Warhammer 40k Conquest magazine from 8th edition or Imperium from 9th edition. The one that's branded Combat Patrol for 10th edition is a magazine that's distributed by Hachette Partworks. It's currently on issue 21 out of 90 in the UK and has also been announced in Germany and Spain as well before it got to the USA. The idea behind this one is that it's in theory a weekly magazine, though it's often shipped out monthly. And it comes packaged either with some Warhammer 40k miniatures or some paint pots. The idea being to introduce new players to the hobby with a magazine that takes them through the process of gradually learning the models, rules and the game. And in particular it tends to be of interest to veteran hobbyists out there, given that there's often big discounts on the individual miniatures within. The company that sells it, Hachette Partworks, has already shown off the full contents, as you can see on the top right here. Basically pretty much 9 different Combat Patrol sets, though a lot of those are now out of production right now. Plus a few bonus things and freebie gifts added in, and the option for a premium subscription. We also know the order that things are going to be coming out in, as per leaks from other sellers of the magazine around the world. In any case, for the US rollout of the release, it looks like it's gone up for pre-order now, and it's going to be shipping out around March the 1st for people to get their hands on it for the first time. The regular issue price for this one will be $15 plus £2.50 per issue shipping and handling, and then also any sales tax that you might pay in individual states. The $15 price tag is maybe a bit higher than the currency conversion. It still seems that they're sort of mirroring the Games Workshop currency inflation thing that they do, where it costs more in the USA and particularly in places like Australia and New Zealand, which maybe isn't the best used in the world for collectors stateside, but it doesn't seem to be worse than the conversion rate. And it still means that the miniatures within are going to be significant discounts versus the ones that Games Workshop sell. Usually with the magazine run, there's normally 2 different ways to buy. Either subscribing to the full run of the magazine via Hachette Partworks, you'd go to their US version of the website, and then the first delivery will have magazine issues 1 and 2, and then after that they come in batches of 4 for the remainder of a 90 magazine run. On top of that, there's some extra incentives to sign up, some bonus gifts that turn up with some deliveries, some promo offers, and also the option of a premium subscription, which can get you yet more miniatures, but they charge you an extra $3 surcharge. In the past, in most countries, you've usually been able to buy individual copies of the magazine from various shops and sellers out there. It's not 100% clear whether or not that's going to be the case this time around. I believe it was for the Imperium magazine though, with I believe Barnes & Noble stocking them in the USA. I did see some chatter online that might not be the case this time. Apparently their customer service might have been telling people that the only way to pick it up is via subscribing from them, though I can't verify this at the moment. It doesn't seem to be written anywhere on the FAQs or anything like that. That might be a shame if so though, as some of the better value magazine things can be particularly interesting to just pick up individual copies of. In any case, for a quick overview of the contents of the magazine, the first run of 20 start with Space Marines vs Tyranids, and it's broadly being the contents of the starter sets, with the first issue being one of the single better deals in Warhammer 40k. 2 characters with a Terminator Captain and Winged Prime with $7 plus $2.50 shipping and handling. These first issues of the Hachette Partworks magazines often tend to be the best deals in Warhammer 40k in general. Lots of people will already have these miniatures though, given that they've been in the Leviathan box set and the starter sets. Then beyond that, if you subscribe, then the second issue also comes with the first one in theory free. So I guess that's $12 in total for the Winged Prime Terminator Captain and 3 Von Ryan's Leapers, which does seem pretty well worth doing. Though I'm not sure whether or not you'd be able to just sign up literally for that and then cancel after if you really wanted to just get the absolute cream of the crop. Apparently you need a 28-day cancellation window, which might mean the next one might turn up and be charged before that, I'm not sure. In any case, beyond that, the regular issues go to a cost of $15 plus the $2.50 shipping and handling, so each delivery of 4 of them from then on will be $70, and moving through the rest there's a squad of 5 Infernus Marines, then 3 paints and a paintbrush, and then the 5th one is that unique Infernus Marine Sergeant. perhaps a special interest due to being a uniquely posed miniature, even if it's probably not quite as interesting as some of the other individual posed ones they've done in the past. Then for the remainder of the Space Marine and Tyranid issues, number 6 is 5 Barb Gaunts, which is quite a good one. 7 and 8 are 10 Termagants and a Ripper, just one set divided between the two, which is kind of a bad deal given that they're the monopose ones and you can find those cheaper online normally. 9 is Paints again, and then there's a Terminator Librarian in issue 10. Again, that one was a particularly interesting one when being sold individually in places around the world. For the rest of the run up to 20, there's some Terminators split across 2, one with a Psychophage in it, another set of 2 with the Termagants, and then at numbers 19 and 20 were particularly good with the Parasite and Mortrex and the Chaplain on bike. I must admit I did pick up a Biker Chaplain one myself for my own Marines when this one came out in the UK. Alongside the main miniatures, they also have gifts that they brand as free, though they're not really that free given that you have to pay for an expensive subscription to get them. They're just part of the deal really. There's some clippers in the second delivery, some binders in the third, a Primaris Company Champion in the fourth one, and that's only one that you get if you sign up for with the pre-order it seems, a mug in the sixth one, and then some paintbrushes in the seventh. Then beyond that, to look through the content quickly, numbers 21 to 30 are the Eldari ones from their previous Combat Patrol, perhaps the Wraithlord and Wind Riders being some of the picks of this one. Numbers 30 to 40 were broadly Chaos Space Marines, a Dark Apostle, some Chaos Terminators and Wraithguard being some particularly good issues. Again, this is the previous edition of Combat Patrol Chaos Space Marines. Then for the next batch it's Orcs, again the older style Combat Patrol with the Warboss and Mega Armour. 2 sets of boys I'm a little bit uncertain of the exact issue order with, and then Deathcopters and Death Dread. 50 to 60 is largely the Leagues of Votan, but also a Boomdacker Snazwagon for the Orcs. It seems like the ones that are at the end of the set of 20 that often have the best deals and best savings on them, with the Einhir Hearthguard at number 60. Number 60 to 70 are from the old and better style Genestealer Cult Combat Patrol, the one with the Mages, Acolytes, Neophytes, Aberrants, more Neophytes and a Goliath Rock Grinder, quite a lot better than their current Combat Patrol I think. 70 to 80 are for the previous Guard Combat Patrol, so the one with all the Cadians, and their bonus kit is a Heavy Weapon Squad. There's also the Genestealer Cult Atalan Jackals here. And then finally we have the World Eaters ones. This one's got the Juggernaut Lords, Jackals, Berserkers, and their bonus kit is a Forge Fiend or Mauler Fiend. Though I guess by the time that people get to this one, it'll already have been replaced by something for 10th edition. Overall, putting that all together for the base sub, these are just some fairly rough and ready numbers, but essentially for the $15 per magazine, including the first one being cheaper, and then the $2.50 shipping and handling, overall that will put the entire run of the magazine at around $1,550 per the whole set of 90. And that's to be paid monthly over the best part of 2 years. Again, going for slightly ballpark figures with a few of them, the rough value of the contents will be the 40k starter set, plus the Parasite and Mortrex, Chaplain on Bike, Barb Gaunts and Librarian, which is just under $300. If you went by the previous 7 Combat Patrol prices that you would be able to buy that you now can't, that'd be almost $1,200 there. The extra kits for each faction thrown in, they add up to 516, including things like the Primaris Champion and the Infernus Marine, and the paints come to roughly $170 or so. It'd mean that if you went by those prices, it'd cost you around about $2,150 if you bought directly from Games Workshop, though dropping down to around about $1,800 if you bought them via a 15% discount retailer like say Wargame Portal. And to me that feels like the better thing to compare it to really, given that you could buy all of these kits at discount. In reality though, you can't buy these Combat Patrols individually anymore. 5 of the 7 of them have gone off sale, and there's a good chance the last 2 might well have gone before the sub gets to them. If we just went for full kit prices for the 5 that have been taken off sale of them, they saved around about 35% on their contents more or less, so in theory could equate for an extra $450 worth of savings. Being a bit generous to them and not counting the Combat Patrol prices, that looks like you save around about $740 on the overall magazine subscription, so around about 30% versus a discount retailer, or around 40% or so versus Games Workshop stock prices. In theory it does mean that the magazine overall is quite a good deal, but I feel like on the other hand it comes with all kinds of caveats. No one Warhammer collection is usually going to just collect 9 armies completely scattergun like this. In theory it's something that you could do, but it's pretty much something that everyone chooses not to do, and for that reason it maybe feels like a sub could be good split between multiple people as opposed to just one. unless you're very happy reselling a lot of miniatures that you're not going to use, or you really think that you're going to have entertainment from all of them. The sheer amount of the kits turning up might be kind of unhelpful as well. I'd certainly not be able to paint up that many miniatures to a standard that I like in the amount of time that they turn up, so it might give you an absolutely massive backlog unless you're incredibly dedicated sticking to your painting. Just in case it weren't enough models for you though, they also have the option of the premium subscription too. In the USA it looks like this one's going to be $3 extra, in the UK it was £2, on the EU €2.50 I believe, and over 90 Combat Patrol issues that'd add up to an extra $270 by the end of the collection I guess. In the UK I believe that you could only get your hands on this one if you subscribed early on one of the first 2 drops or pre-ordered it, and then after that it was no longer an option. And then for that extra $3 surcharge, you got 4 drops over the course of the whole collection. The first one being a Brutalis Dreadnought and Hive Tyrant that had come with issue 15. I guess that would probably mean that it had come with drop 5 I suppose. And then for the rest of them, there's a Demon Prince and some Howling Banshees with number 37, some Killer Cans and some Brockier Thundercane with number 59, and then a Rogel Dawn Battle Tank and a Brood Coven with issue number 81. There's certainly plenty of big, exciting and valuable kits here. It looks like their total cost at the moment is $585, or dropping down to just under $500 via a discount retailer. And just taking the add-on on its own, it does look like this is maybe the best value bit of the whole sub, around about a 54% saving versus Games Workshop, or around 46% versus a discounter, so it does seem like the upsell in the USA, again, is the best bit of the deal in theory, though at the cost of potentially burying you under yet more plastic when you can't keep up with it anyway. Certainly seems valuable enough though, if you either can keep up with the painting, want to split with a friend, or are happy to resell in some way. Finally, for one more sort of stealth thing that they had going on, they occasionally do some extra things as well. In the UK release, they had a bonus Tigurius model turn up, and the cost of that was the same as a normal issue of the magazine I believe. The system that they do it in did feel a bit dodgy though. You basically had to opt out of receiving him, otherwise you'd be charged an extra £10, which does seem a bit cheeky if you miss it and you didn't really want to take them up on that. For Tigurius himself though, it was a kind of unusually good deal on the miniature, and even if you just directly resold him, then you'd probably make money, so perhaps didn't get that much irritation as a result. In any case though, it looks like for those that wanted it, Combat Patrol is hitting the USA. Should be interesting for some people who want their Games Workshop model loot boxes turning up each month. It certainly is one way to basically sustainably acquire a rather massive amount of plastic. I feel like the actual subscription itself is definitely going to be kind of niche appeal as opposed to literally everyone getting it. Perhaps as much for the entertainment factor as it is for the miniatures individually. I feel like if you're actually trying to practically collect any one army of Warhammer 40k, you're probably going to be best off just getting the kits that you want more so than the big 9 army subscription. But as mentioned, I feel like there's plenty of use for it. Like I said, you could split it between a gaming group, you could just be prepared to resell the bits that you're not so interested in, or you could potentially be looking out for any people unloading things second hand when those issues do come out. Sometimes having a whole load of a kit around can reduce the prices that people might be selling them on eBay, for example. In any case though, let me know your thoughts as to the US release of the Warhammer 40k Combat Patrol magazine. Will you be subscribing or not? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you've enjoyed the video, then feel free to subscribe to Auspex Tactics. I'll certainly keep the regular 40k videos coming. I do tend to post new ones just about every day. Finally, if you have been enjoying all the videos on the channel, I would just like to mention that Auspex Tactics does have a Patreon page as well, and you can find that linked in the video description if you'd like to help support and keep these coming. Channel patrons do get a few other advantages like seeing certain videos early, regular votes to see what sort of things come next on the channel, and automatic entry into the regular prize giveaways with a chance to win some big model kits each month. If any of that sounds good to you or you'd just like to help support, the link's down in the video description below. In any case, a massive thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.